Oh my goodness, this nigga's still talking.
Hey, man, how are y'all? It's been a while. Happy Christmas, Merry New Year's, Merry Holidays, Kwanzaa, if anybody celebrates that. I won't lie. I don't think I've met somebody who celebrated Kwanzaa yet, to be fair. It's really just like, or at least no one that's like publicly told me that. You feel me? I don't know. But, whatever they say before Kwanzaa, bro, like, I don't know. Because you know how Christmas usually got the merry dog. And, like, I don't know, somewhere around high school, I just stopped wanting to say merry. I won't lie. It was like, oh, Jesus. All right, so I'm also playing MLB a little bit while doing this. I kind of just want to swing, but we'll do some other stuff, man. I suck at it though. Especially since it's been a while. I don't even remember how to play completely, but it's really not gonna be that serious. Um, I don't know, man. But yeah, I've never met anybody that celebrated Kwanzaa. How that to say that, man. I feel like a lot of shit happened since the time I've been like gone. You know, like nah, it's a little bit like hiatus type shit. You know, like a holiday break, I guess. Um, I thought about doing like a Christmas one. Like I'll be completely honest. Then I was all like, man, because like I worked the day, I worked Eve, and I was gonna have to work night, anyways. So I was like, nah, bro, I'm just gonna chill. I'm just trying to chill. And I thought about having one on like either for or on Thursday, and I was like, nah, bro, it's not that serious. I'll just try and like take a break this week, and maybe I do one New Year's or the day after New Year's because I feel like I usually do one New Year's, like a New Year's type joint. Shit ended up happening, like that fucking prevented that and like just a fine process, but it also helped me kind of face a certain reality. So I'm just chilling now. In terms of like things to talk about, I feel like because of the maybe it's because the time I took off or just like everything that just fucking happened. And I even had like things that I would have personally wanted to talk about. Um like one topic I was like holding on to was like, golly, bro. Is it just me or do fucking group projects just suck most of the time? Like, I don't know. I'll say this. Like my thing is like, all right, bro. Just let's do we if we all do like the minimum, like on time type shit, we can at least and like because to me, I always like have shit ready and planned. So it's like we have this shit done, we can just build upon it. All right. That's I guess that's usually how I kind of think about things. And even me, I know I'd be procrastinating. So I'd be on that fucking wave where it's like I'm zooming sometimes. Like I'll be like, all right, I've been like held up with other shit, and it's because like personally in my head, but the way I fucking think about a lot of things is like I don't think about like the exhaustion of like doing certain things and how that might affect things afterwards, I'm like, all right, I can schedule a time to sleep. All right, we can move this shit around, knock it here and there. All right, and we can find time for that shit. And then we can just place times all around it and we'll be fine for the most part. And it's just like, it meant like, not only is that like an issue, like just in general, with like how I try and like do things, or like not how me, but like how I guess you should you should do things. I feel like, but like it also makes it so like ridiculously rigid that like missteps that could not even be from you, but like other people or other things that like are just outside of your control are just it's just susceptible to. So I'm like, I gotta stop walking on that tightrope, and it just happens so often, and like that's not even just for procrastination. That's just life, I guess. And like it's fine sometimes because like at least for a bit of time I can always manage it. It's like it's once shit starts piling up on each other on itself, and then like I had to sit through other people's stuff. And that's not necessarily what happened like group project wise, and I wasn't even really gonna mention it like as a big topic, but since we here, we here. All right. I left the game that I was in. I was in like freaking the Diamond Dynasty joint, and like that nigga threw three, four fastballs in a row, and like I can't even see like that. And I'm not gonna sit here, go get up and be like, all right, guys, let me go and get my glasses. I gotta lock in on this guy. No, he's a CPU, man. I just be getting the batting cages. All right, warm me up at first, bro. Why you gonna do this to me, man? Like it's kind of nasty, bro. And I'll say this: this is like one of those games where it's like, because 2K, I feel like you can get good at 2K very quickly, honestly. Especially if you really kind of like understand basketball to like various degrees and whatnot. And like, you just gotta like, if you're gonna have a play style, you're gonna have to stick to your play style. Me personally, I'm like, I'm gonna do everything type of nigga for the most parts. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have a little bit on three, just enough, so niggas gotta stay on me, and then I'm gonna, man, hear that sound effect? A Roadrunner in this bitch. Nah, like Sonic in this bitch. Gold form. Super Saiyan Sonic type shit. Side note, it's been interesting how like a lot of like old stuff have been seeing kind of revival. Like, as a side note, the kid that beat Tetris, and you know what? I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about that shit next. We're gonna actually find that fucking news lady who was on some shit for a 13-year-old, and I'm like, I don't even know who you is, bitch. Like, respectfully. Everybody giving, and it's giving that one, what's that one black girl or news person? I don't know if it's Tyra Banks. I don't want to just attribute it, but there's some like mean black girl who was like, I think some TikToker died, and she was just like getting some like upset because that nigga had more followers than her. I was like, what the fuck? Yo, nigga. I'm just like, what's wrong with y'all? Why are you guys so pressed on these kids, bro? Like on things like well, you shouldn't. This shouldn't be your focus. Like one of them, you're a news joint. Why are you talking about like a kid? Like if you don't care about it, then don't talk about it respectfully. And it's like it's honestly slightly why I can't even like. Let me just to bring up a small thing. Malika Andrews. This is why I can't even be mad too much. And they just throw a teleprompter on her stuff all the time. I can't even be mad at her too much. Like niggas are on her tip for OD shit. I do think not just her, the entirety of ESPN went fucking quiet on that Josh Giddey shit, which is crazy to me. Which is crazy to me, because they seemingly have speculated on various things. And it's just like it's weird because it's like I also don't think they talked about the Josh Primo stuff that much. Like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, and I don't know why. And maybe it's just like it feels like the sexual deviance kind of are getting a little bit more past. They focus not that they focus on Deshaun Watson OD, but Deshaun Watson was just egregious. All right, like that's why like that same with the Bill Cosby shit. Like there's a whole bunch like when there's that much, them niggas can't hide that shit. All right. All right, you start hitting double digits, nigga. We're gonna start looking at you. Be like, damn, nigga. And some of them had varying degrees of evidence, and they ain't got shit. They was just sucking on his pudding pop. But like that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not gonna be mad at Malika Andrews as long as her shit not crazy. Like to be fair, everything she did say was in truth. I do think it's wild to mention. Oh yeah, I put it on practice mode. Now I'm just hitting this bitch. Yes, sir. But I do think it's a little bit wild to mention what you call it. Um, damn, that nigga almost hit me. But to mention like all that shit about the kid, but let's go back to the projects real quick, and then we'll actually like go and I'll pull up the video for the kid. Um, but I don't know, man. My issue, like, I'll bring up the more recent one because that one did kind of bother me a little bit, just because, like, if I had to say two people in that group, 100% fuck with. I think they cool, nice people. I wouldn't be mad to have a conversation, to have a lunch, go out with them, have a nice day. All right. For further evaluate them, see if they can move past acquaintances. Because I'll say this, I'm not quick to denounce niggas or not denounce, announce niggas as friends. Like I know you, you're cool people, to my knowledge. But like I feel like me personally, I gotta. There's a lot more evaluation before I'm just like, yeah, we friends for real. And that's fine, in my opinion. I feel like that because at least it provides a better delineation. Like I feel like a lot of people will say friends, but they'll say that shit loosely. I don't. That's not me personally. I guess. And that's not a bad thing. Again, that isn't. That just means we haven't had enough conversations. We've had. I haven't really felt out who you are as a person. I don't feel like you felt out who I am as a person. Like at most, we're just like civil with each other, for real, for real. Again, that's not a bad thing. But like, all right, like to map out the exact first day for this class. All right, I go in. This is a classroom I actually had been in for another class, like basically the entire year previously. So I was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna sit kinda, sorta, middle back, right hand side of the room, just like I was in that other class. All right, it gives me a nice, overarching view. I don't feel like anybody will ever really be seeing me. I like them cool little spots like that, bro. Like just give me to the side, give me to the back, give me a nice view, give me a good space to the door. That's kind of how I am. If I'm if I'm picking seats in a class, usually I'm not usually finna be up in the front areas. Not even like middle sections for real, unless that's like only way for the doors or that's only spaces available. But like so I'm sitting there and the teacher's cool. I had actually emailed him like a while before because the class slightly like the end of I was gonna have to be going to work at the exact time the class was technically ending. So I emailed him because I was like, "Hey man," or I mean, obviously I have a different email voice. Hello, sire. Let me stop. But I was like, this is kind of like I got work right around the time, and it's like a considerable amount of distance away. So I need to like leave early sometimes. I don't know when you'd be ending class or if that'd be okay. But I just wanted to let you know from beforehand so you can tell me whether or not I should like take this class or I should go and look for a different class. And he was all like, yeah, nah, it's going to be group based. It really kind of just depends on your group members, but we usually will end class a good enough time before then, and however you guys feel like you want to go and do your space and have time, that's fine. I was like, cool, cool. I'm take your class, bro. Yeah, great. Rate my professor's grades, bro. And honestly, I'll say this: although the group as a whole, like how it mostly went as a whole, like the project, kind of annoyed me. I feel like I'm kind of glad I went through it because it helped solidify some things in my head about me. All right. And also, it showed how far various resources have came. I'm not going to speak on it because that's for me, but niggas who know will know. All right. And as even just not only just a teaching aid, but as a guide, just so much. Salute to it. But even moving past that, like I was like, as the whole, the class was good, and I fucked with the whole thing and premise. I just like I didn't want to be the leader. I don't like being the leader type nigga. I feel like that shit is the most annoying and stressful just because like you gotta delegate, and as the leader, unfortunately, especially if it's like in theory that would be your main role, so you still have time to like help out, then you have to like spread yourself a little bit thin once niggas is lacking, because at the end of the day everybody just wants to pass and get out of here. All right. And it's not like I feel responsible for that, but I can't, at that point, I can't get out of it with just like, yeah, this is my grade. So I usually try and shy away from those roles. I'll be completely honest. Because it's like, unless I feel like I have complete control, there's no point. And it's like, not having complete control isn't even the best way to lead. All right, Michael Jordan back then could punch Steve Kerr and should be all right. But you see how niggas was acting when Draymond punched Jordan Poole? All right, you can't do that shit no more. Let me stop. Sometimes LeBron be yelling at niggas and people get, whoa, people get like, you remember when how LeBron looked for JR? All right. Granted, most niggas was like, yeah, JR, what the fuck are you doing? Put the shot up, nigga. Even if we like, what did he think he was? He thought they were up by what, nigga? Even if we up by one, we'll put it in their face, nigga. Pause. respectfully. I was just joking. But like, you can't even like you this. I'm not saying that like that's the type of leader I'd be, or and obviously that's not the type that I'd even want to be as such. Why I'm like, there's no point. But it's just like so the nigga. So I was sitting there. The teacher announced like makes us all basically do an introduction, kind of like talk about your skills and whatnot. Um, I want to say some people there was like there was like 3 to 4 people who caught my eye. I'll say this, like naturally, like based off what there is, what how they introduced themselves. One of them was a graphic designer guy. He put that out as one of his capabilities, one of his traits, and like niggas that know me know I fuck with that shit. So I was definitely interested, especially in terms of like future workings as well. I feel like that's a good shit. That's a good trade. Like especially in this era, that can be a great trade if you know how to market yourself and like you're really passionate about that shit. It can definitely be shaky in the beginning though. No lie. But like how in terms of how you kind of go about it, you can definitely go great. But he caught my somebody who said the DevOps associate for AWS Cloud. That caught my eye because I also have I had the and I said this I was like I had the developer associates for AWS. So I was like, it's just that's just pudding. That's just pudding. All right. Um. So there was him. I think there was one other person who said, what was it? He had said kind of like his work with file systems. Felt like that was kind of interesting, but at least in terms of the course, it wasn't like that much. But I was like, eh. Those are like the ones that kind of stood out. A few other people who talked about web design a little bit, of course, but that was like less interesting or like a stand outish, of course. But after that, I was just damn, couldn't even hit that one. I was like, this one's gonna be right in the box. That nigga did not. That nigga put it right in the box, and could not hit it, bro. I'm terrible, bro. I am terrible at this shit. Part of it is also because like I'm trying to like divide the task. This is not like a super duper easy game, I guess, to do that shit in. You gotta lock in and see where the ball is going, especially when you kind of blind. Like I'm not blind, but I'm halfway there, type shit, bro. Like niggas be surprised that I'd be peeping shit and I'd be seeing shit, but then it's like, how you see all that, but you didn't see this? I'm like, look, bro, it's a little bit dark outside, man. Okay, man. It's a little bit dark. I ain't even. My mind won't even focus on that. Honestly, I was looking at the statue. I thought you were talking about the words of the statue. I was like, I didn't even know there was words out there. Where you see it, bro? And he was like, he was putting at some banner. But God damn, nigga, if that nigga ever listen to this, he knows who he is. But we just fucking were in the classroom, and there's this one guy who I won't say what he said stood out as like anything great, but he was definitely loud about it. I'll say that. I'll say that. And I didn't think, and initially I didn't think it was a bad thing, of course. Initially I was like, okay, because he was all like, yeah, I want to start my own business. Like he talked a lot about the entrepreneurship pathway portion, making his own like thing, being able to work together, work as a team. Because he's usually been solo. And he's always done things alone. And he's seen the limitations with that. And I'm like, the way he spoke about it, I was like, okay, this is eloquent enough to be a thing. So like and I kind of left it at that. My one thing though was I felt like throughout the like time I was getting stared at. And I don't like that. I'll say this. Like, especially since like I'm one of those people who I'm either peeping stuff or I'm like engrossed in something else. And because I was like early on, I knew this group thing. I was also surveying, but he didn't seem like he was surveying. Because like I said, like even in like my like section, there was only like 2 or 3 people in the like my entire like section. I'm talking about like column of seats. Because you know I said I sat on the right side. That entire right side had 3 people. Majority of people were on that other side. So it made sense for me to survey left. All right. But he wasn't surveying. All right. And like I was a little bit uncomfortable with it, but I was like, all right, that's fine. I'm a regular diggler nigga. And I was all like, maybe he fucks with the shirt. I was wearing my Roshi shirt, bro. All right. Nigga, look, bro. Niggas fuck with the Roshi shirt. What more can I say? Like, nah, it's Muten Roshi. Like, what are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? That's Muten Roshi. All right. Master Roshi. The Kame House guy himself. All right. Turtle style Muten Roshi. All right. He got a whole tortoise, bro. Stop playing with him. The maker of the Kame. All right, the originator. He taught Grandpa Gohan. All right. He taught him how to 2-step. Y'all not hearing me, man. Y'all not hearing me. All right. That nigga old as shit. Went to the tournament of power. Still got bodies. Tien got what, 1? They do Tien dirty. Been seeing them Tien edits. Those are fire. Back to the topic. But like, yeah, he's staring at me. But I was like, all right, fuck it. All right, this is a nice shirt. I can't be mad at him. All right. And they didn't ask about my shirt at all. All right. Didn't even fucking mention it. All right. But like once the teacher was like, all right, you guys are gonna want to like kind of choose your people early. All right. He had like 2 of the people. He had the file systems guy and the DevOps guy near him. And I was peeping that he was talking to him. My eyes kind of had went to a guy that was in my coding class from my previous semester, my spring semester. We had taken Java data structures together, and I was cool with him. I was like, he's cool people. I already got that acquaintance level with him. It would be sweet. He was talking to the graphics artist guy. I was like, bet, get me in there. He ain't coming to me. And like, I was like, all right, bet. I'm probably gonna walk. I was like, I want to walk down there, but I don't know this nigga's name. That was my issue. All right. So I was like, in my head, I was trying to racketeer what this man's name was, but I couldn't think of it, cause we didn't. Like number one, my name is easy. All right, I won't lie. I feel like niggas get it too easy of a job with my name. Plus the fact that I'm already kind of dumb with names. So it's like you gotta say it a few times, like every time I meet you, for me to really remember. Unfortunately, like especially like now, like it's not out of anything like bad or malice. It's just like I was about to say like I don't be thinking about other people, but like that sounds crazy, and that's not how. That's not what I mean. But it's like at least throughout my day, I don't like there are scenes that I'll replay probably if I'm ever gonna be thinking about certain people, and I'll replay actions. I won't really replay conversations that much, um, unless there was like something like vital or important or crazy in it, or like just funny. But there's one guy from he was saying he's from Cali. He was saying when he was younger, how they used to like play around. They used to screw in light bulbs and like take the like light bulbs out from like the front porches of people's houses. They took a whole bunch, like him and neighborhood kids went and started screwed it into one person's yard and just left. And in my head, I was like, that's crazy, because I was like, why? And it's because I was like, look, I don't hate the fact that you did it, but I'm just like the niggas whose yard you screwed it into. What did he do? He was like, oh yeah, he didn't do anything. We just screwed it into his yard. It's like that nigga's yard. Like what? Like, yeah, it was just fun to do. I was like, okay. I sure remember his name. I fuck with him heavy. He put me on to Kaiju 99. I think it's Kaiju 99. It's like the demon and then it's a number. I know that for a fact. Put me on to that. We can talk about One Piece. We can talk about a few other shit. I fuck with him. But it's just like his name, Jesus Christ. I've gotten to the point where it's like now when other people mention his name, I'm, oh yeah, I know who he is. But me like having to conjure it up, mm-mm. Cause I just got so many other fucking shit in my head. It's like it's almost like cause I be having military friends. They be having acronyms. And like Jesus Christ, bro. That nigga will say an acronym in my face, and I gotta tell him, yo, nigga, I am a civilian. All right. Speak to me as a fucking civilian. Then he's like, I've told you this acronym before. I was like, I don't give a fuck. You wanted me to remember that? I memorized all the like the Kingdom class final, all them shit without the King David fucking acronym. All right. Until there was a funny one. And then the funny one, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. And I forgot that shit again. But guess what? I also forgot that other shit. So who cares? All right, the test, I passed that test. I'm not a biologist, all right? I take about apart computers, all right? When the robots come marching in, you can call me. I might not pick up. A nigga might be on self-assist. I won't lie. All right. Now you can't save everybody. Okay. That's nasty. Okay. You can't save everybody. But I'm fucking the guy who was like staring, talking about entrepreneurship, comes up and was all like, hey, I got me and two friends over there, and we were talking, and we kind of formed a group already, and we just need one more, and we want to see if you're down. And I was like, dang, he got two out of like the four people who I was really interested in working with, and one of them interest was mostly because he was like someone who I was previously acquainted with. Like that was the reason. And I was all like, all right, the likelihood of me it being better for me to just shrug off like this opportunity. I was like, fuck it. So I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll join. I go in, I go talk to them a little bit. Other two people, other two people seem cool. Off rip, entrepreneurship guy. He was kind of off to me. I don't know what it was, but he was kind of off to me. Like, I don't know, man. And because I'm trying to like only like put it in perspectives of like how I was when I went there. And look, I might just be being hypercritical, and that's what I thought. That's what I thought at the time. I was like, oh, maybe he was just trying to show goodwill, but like he just seemed like he. I feel I don't remember if it was the first day, but that nigga asked me what I thought about his afro. He's like Egyptian type, like so kind of like so you know so it's like he asked me about his afro. Me, I'm like in my head, I'm like, are you asking me about your afro because I'm black, like because I'm like dark skinned? I was like, oh, it's good. He's like, yeah, because I started growing it recently. And then like, I don't know if it was that first time or if it was one of the next two classes. But that nigga made me look at a time lapse of where he had no, and that wasn't even just it. Within that second class, that nigga pulled out a comb or a pick or whatever and started combing his afro out in class using his MacBook as a fucking like the camera on his MacBook as a mirror. And look, do you. All right? But to me, I'm like, look, because this is what I'm saying. I can't even be mad because the way I am, I can even multitask type shit. Like I can hear the professor, and the professor is cool. He didn't even really do a lot of lecturing. He actually brought like guest speakers in, and they talked about their shit. And I can like hear a guest speaker talk and whatnot, and do like silly shit. Like I can read a manga while hearing them talk, and still somewhat absorb it, still somewhat understand it. I can have an NBA game playing because that's when the NBA started. I was like in October. I had put on a little bit NBA game, kind of flip up and down, still kind of take notes, especially because like a lot of stuff I was kind of already familiar with because I did like a whole web development boot camp. I did the AWS stuff already. I'd studied a good portion for Security Plus, and honestly, I'm technically ahead on my coursework, or I was ahead on my course workload so much that if I could have taken all the classes that I had left, I could have technically graduated. Not even just last semester. I could have probably graduated last spring, and then maybe had like 3 in the summer left, or 2 in the summer, 10 more left. If I was really pushing it, but because I had to do like there was a process for this shit. I couldn't even get out of it as early as I wanted to. I was really gunning for last semester or this past semester, this winter. But by spring, the way these niggas were talking, I was like, yeah, nah, y'all not doing what we already talked about before. There's nothing like you ain't mentioned none of this before. We talked face to face type shit. Now you telling me that shit it's not existing no more. Why didn't you let me in earlier? Fuck it. But what can you do, right? But like, yeah, even moving past that, right? Um I was like that's fine. Within like cuz I don't know if it was the first time We had like done a meeting. It was probably the second time. We had done a meeting like after the second, probably third week, where we were all like, all right, it was probably after the third week. We had gone on Discord like before the fourth week because it was something that we all had to basically turn in, but it was all basically individualized. But we also wanted to be like somewhat acquainted with each other. So it was like third week going into the fourth week, probably. At most, maybe second week. But we're on there and basically all had a project. We were supposed to all come up with a project in mind to do and to have. I can't say I really remember everybody's. Um I had an event booking application, and to be honest, it was like it was just like the easiest, the one that I like quickly thought of and like looked up about as like good beginner or not beginner, but like good like projects to like kind of do. Um, so I didn't even really think too much of it. And I didn't think my joint was gonna be chosen. All right, I kind of did everything kind of casually and lackadaisically, if I'm gonna be honest, because I was like I didn't expect like too much from it. Um, Somebody else proposed like a flower shop online store thing. Uh, Another person I think did was talking about a dog thing, or yeah, like a dog thing, like a pet thing. And the nigga that like invited us all basically like maybe it wasn't a dog thing. I don't want to go back and look because I feel like that would be OD. But he basically copied the other nigga's idea, like word for word, bar for bar, and it was kind of like disgusting because like I was like nobody's gonna say anything because he was one of the last people to fucking present too, or like not really present but to say like what he had, and I was all like, bro, you just finna. Oh yeah, and this is the nasty part. No, that wasn't just the nasty part. The reason why we were told to like we met up. Oh no, it was after the first week. Ah yeah, this nigga said this nigga put in the Discord chat. He was all because somebody else was like, oh, so what part do we have to do individually and what part do we have to do together? And then this nigga rant like comes on his high horse and all like, and look, I'm just like, nigga, talk with us about a meeting time before you just like make a time. He was like, we'll talk about it on Tuesday at 4:30. Guys, mandatory group meeting at 4:30 to do homework and talk about project. Unfortunately, unfortunately, I wasn't even really looking. So I didn't even get the chance to fight it. And like the other two niggas had already agreed, and I was like, all right, I can technically make it. Fuckingly, I can make it to this meeting. So we'll just do it and we'll get that shit over with. This nigga tried to do a Zoom meeting. We were like, nah, we're doing Discord. We're doing Discord. Literally, I have to go. I basically like got shit done around that day. And this nigga tried to act like he was finna be described too. He was all like, "Well, we talked about week one. We talked about our business idea." Ah, bro, I gotta find the business idea bullshit. I gotta find the business idea bullshit, bro. And it's like now that I'm really on this box, I'm gonna sound like a hater, and it's fine. This nigga didn't do it. This nigga didn't do much. All right. I mean, I'll say this: throughout the entire like thing, all he did was make the logo. Basically, our homeworks were the same. Like our homeworks, we basically did portions of them together. Our homeworks were essentially the same thing, and he wasn't even doing the homeworks on time. and we basically like we had like sections that we did as together, and then it was like, oh yeah, just have this one video play. Damn it, bro. Where is it? Portfolios. I think everybody just freaking shared screen on that shit. Cause I don't think yeah, I don't think we well maybe I have it in my files. I be keeping a lot of shit. Like I have a very it's funny. Real life in theory, I'm like kind of disorganized, but like I remember even one time I connected my computer to the TV, invited people over, and they're like, "Why do you have so many folders? So many folders?" I was like, and especially like when we were going to play a game, I like was clicking through multiple folders in order to get to it, and I'm like, that's just organization because you just have so many files. If you have so many files, you're gonna have so many fucking folders. But even then, I feel like a lot of people really just be dragging, dropping shit to their desktop, and like for me, I have a whole bunch of stuff on my desktop too. But because I'm gonna have so much stuff, I gotta like compartmentalize a certain amount of things. Because if not, then Jesus Christ. So, for example, I keep essentially every single online thing that I do inside the OneDrive folder that my school provides. Because why the fuck not? They give me unlimited storage. Why would I not use it? Well, they give me 1 terabyte, but like, I'm not gonna be fucking streaming like. I put games. I put games on there before too, but I'm not like streaming games off there. So it's not like I really have a lot or I've had a lot before. And I've deleted them for the most part because you don't want to just put shit on the school stuff, obviously. But man, even if I don't find it, all right. He stole that man's idea. All right. And it was kind of disgusting. Cause it's like, why would you like just say that you didn't like, oh my gosh. That was the worst part about it. He actually did say, like, at the end of it, when we were all like, cause I wasn't gonna vote for my own idea. Not like one on a like anti-narcissistic type thing. I'm like, yeah, I think it's kind of weird, whack, and weird to kind of vote on your own idea. So I was like, I'll vote on the idea that I like the most. That was somebody else's, and but my idea ended up getting voted on. Portfolio template. Yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to find that because I feel like by week 2 we had already like kind of decided what we were gonna do. Yeah, we had the team contract and whatnot. Oh yeah, funny enough, week 2 is when the other person kind of joined. So yeah, we were working quickly for this. I'll say that for sure. We were working quickly with this. We were working quickly with this. Um. So yeah, literally, it was in week 1 he pulled the meeting thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, not even gonna ask. Like there are like certain things, especially if you gonna be trying to lead, where you just like you're not supposed to immediately come out the gate demanding. And then the fact that he came in that week 1, forced the meeting and everything, and he didn't even really have anything. He was 100% trying to like repackage somebody else's project. I was like, that's disgusting to me. That was disgusting to me. Like literally of our own group that like had already presented. I think it was the dog person. Like it was ridiculous. Like when I tell you, it was like it was his thing, word for word, bar for bar. in a sense. And he just reset it. And I was all like, all right, I'm not finna like call somebody out for saying, and then after that, he literally said, like at the end of the meeting type shit, he was like, mine, I kind of really just thought of it on the spur of the moment. We shouldn't really take mine seriously. I wasn't really thinking. And I was like, yeah, I can fuck it. I could tell. All right. But since nobody else wanted to mention it, I was like, fuck it. Yeah, I got it. All right. We're moving on. That second week, there was like a small group, like a group of 3, and they were like, all right, we're gonna have to break you guys up, and y'all gonna have to join other groups. And there was a group of 3, and then there was like a solo guy working by himself. So we were gonna pick up our 5th guy. Chance for the acquaintance to come in. I was all like, and cause they were like, all you 3 teams, since you guys are already the biggest, just pick a guy up. So I was like, all right, bet. I pointed at him. I was like, you down? I was like, you down? He didn't say anything. I was like, I'm trying to skedaddle. And then I was like, I won't lie. I feel like the other two niggas that I was saying, the file system, the DevOps guy, we both were all like, after the one that I chose didn't immediately like come in, I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm not gonna force nobody. I was like, all right, man. We both handed it off. We all 3 of us, we handed it off to that nigga and we just left. We were like, all right, man, you're the leader, bro. You got it. You can pick whoever, draft. I literally said, this is the draft, all right? So draft well. We'll expect you to draft well. Because I'll say this, at least that nigga was a good drafter. I thought, nope. Now I feel like he picked people that he thought that were just cool looking, sort of. I don't know. Because yeah. Everybody that he picked the people closest to him that had like good fades, I guess. I don't know. Not to size myself up too much or nothing. But we're doing all that. Fucking. We leave, and us 3, we kind of geeking at the fact of what we just did. Now, I don't know if it was right at that moment or something, but nah, it wasn't. It wasn't. So later after that next week, we ended up doing another one of those group meetings. We ended up moving the guy who we ended up drafting didn't even show up because he had work or whatever. It was whatever. We ended up moving the meetings forward to like a later time that was like better for people. And it got to the point, and it was me and the DevOps guy, I felt like, in the chat by ourselves at one point. And I was all like, yo, so do you know entrepreneurship guy? He was all like, either he asked me or I asked him first. One of us asked each other first. And immediately the other person's like, no, I thought you knew him. I was like, nah. Because like how I immediately was all like, the way he came up to me and he asked me to join the group, he said, I already have I have 2 of my friends in a group already. He asked me if I want to join. That's how I was asking the group. I was the last of the 2 of y'all to join. I was on the other side of the classroom, I was on the next over section. They were in the middle section technically, but he was sitting right next to the files. He was like sitting like a seat, maybe 2 seats away from the file system guy. So I was like, all right, he probably knows the file system guy. I understood that one more. So we were like, all right, bet we'll ask the file system guy later. We basically plan out like the web development stuff. Or like, because he was more focused on front end. We were like, all right, bet, let's start making the plan, the first like look of the website and whatnot. And then moving into it, we get a chance, and we ask because we were the first people inside the Discord at one point, us 3. And we asked him. We asked the file systems guy. We were like, "Hey, did you already know this guy? Because he just seemed really friendly with you, and you guys knew each other already, like knew each other's name and whatnot." He was like, "No, I thought you guys knew him. This is the first time I met him." I was like, "Oh, okay." And like, look, I'm not like, and look, it might, again, I might sound like a hater, but I'm like, I'm opposed to like random compliments, because I'm like, why are you trying to butter a nigga up? All right. And he was saying like stuff like, "I love you guys." Bro, it's been like 3-4 weeks. Calm down. Love is a strong word. I like y'all niggas. Like it. Yeah. He said the word nigga, all right? He said it. He said the word. Now, in theory, wait. But I'm not even a gatekeeper of that word, personally. So I'm just saying. But yeah, we'll get to the to the Tetris shit on Thursday. But let me just start knocking this shit off. But like it was just so weird, because I'm not a big guy on the overly friendly trope. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big guy on that. You gotta warm me up to that. Like I was saying before, we can't. But like obviously we're in a group already. Jump joints are already like locked in. We gotta do this shit. The new nigga that joins, he said he wants to be the database and programming guy. I'm like, fuck it. That's actually I actually like this. Yo, it's crazy. It's like we drafted for fit. It was really like we drafted for fit, not just because I already liked the other person. It was like we drafted for fit because we needed that. And I was like, fuck it, yeah. It was like drafting someone who came out of college. Basically, RJ Barrett came out to college. People said he was gonna be a shooter. All right, there was already some questions about his rim pressure, but what was for sure people were saying is that he was gonna come out being a shooter at first. And like him as a guy, I can see myself hanging out with him. I can see myself having a fun time. I can't see myself being close friends, just because that nigga was not trying to do work, but he was trying to propose shit, just like the other nigga. And I hate niggas. I hate proposing ass niggas. All right, if you want to propose shit, do shit. All right. And it was weird because in the beginning, I think that nigga was humble. Because in the beginning, it was just front end shit. It was just front end stuff. All right. All he had to do, and since he was programming database, we were like, oh yeah, dog, you ain't got shit to do right now. All right, this first half, this first 4 weeks, we just doing front end. Within that third week, he mentioned it like multiple times. Like, it feels like I'm not doing anything. I was like, oh man, you're good. You don't got to do anything. You don't got to do much right now. You basically have a design role. But I was like, you can make the UML diagram though. We can make one of those real quick. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. Because it was basically the database structure, the database structure diagram. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Ghost. He ended up not being there on the Discord. I was like, that's cool. Wasn't in class for that week, I feel like. I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, cool. Just do the UML diagram. We're finally in the database. We start being in the database section around like mid-October. Or mid-October. No database diagram was made. Okay. Don't come to me and say like, oh, I feel like I'm not doing shit. I give you shit to do, and it's small shit. It's nothing hard. It's nothing big. Just small shit. And you didn't even want to do that. I said, look into the X, Y, and Z API. Didn't do that. File systems guy did that, luckily. And it's like Like I'm not asking niggas to move mountains, respectfully. But it's like, don't ask me for shit to do. I give you shit to do, and you don't want to do shit. That shit bothers me. That shit bothered me. I won't lie, and that's what blew me. And then when we're actually getting into the programming, whatever, we already announced that we're gonna be doing Python because this nigga want to do Python. Me personally, I want to do Node. I want to do JS. I want to do JavaScript for the back end. That nigga said, "Oh, I know Python. I don't really know JavaScript. We shouldn't do JavaScript." I was like, "Fine, we can do Python." This nigga is not. I told all these niggas. I said I made an AWS account. I told everybody, yo, log into your accounts, make sure it works, make sure you have access to the stuff you're supposed to have access to, so we can do this. And everybody's able to do it. I'll put my credit card on there, and I'll make it so we all doing this. One person file system nigga, and I think maybe the DevOps guy ended up doing it, but for sure the file system nigga. That nigga, the only person that went logged into his account, gave himself a password, did that shit. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get shit done, bro. I'm trying to get shit done. And it's like, shit was blowing me. And then it started getting to the point where the nigga in the entrepreneurship nigga started asking for more. Mind you, this nigga was even a week late for the logo that he wanted to make. Nobody told him to do it. He wanted to do it. He did it by himself. He made a logo. We said, fuck it. You got it, Brody. It was a solid logo. I don't know how much of it was just him. Respectfully. Because he had 4 different ones. That quickly. Okay. Look. I'm not going to knock the hustle. But don't let a nigga find out. But he does the logo, and he was supposed to be one of the original front end people. He was supposed to be like more the designer, so he was supposed to at least make the wireframes. No wireframes. He was basically conversating with the DevOps guy, who was our actual front end person, and was telling him to do stuff. It was kind of like, and the DevOps guy, he's graduating this semester. He got his own shit to worry about because he got a senior project they're finishing up. They're doing presentations. They're doing all that shit for. All right, I'm that nigga that's like, look, let's just do what we can. We do what we can. We move on how we're supposed to be progressing at the speed we're supposed to be progressing in the class. We catch up where we can. We move. We slow down when we can. All right. We just got to keep our balance. Make sure everybody's doing their part. Unfortunately, not everybody was. So I helped pick up some of the slack, the smaller slack on the front end in the beginning. I designed 2 pages. Especially after I was like, yo, model 1 page, I'll knock the other 2 out. Because now I know what you're going for. I just need you to give me the general design. I'll move it out. But other niggas was just making shit hard, trying to add extra shit to it that we didn't need. Or at least nigga, you not fucking doing. And that's fine. That's cool. That's fine. But don't be on my head saying we gotta do this, and this. And I'm like, look, y'all can. Let's get into the end. Where I was all like, look, now I'm just gonna do what we said we were gonna do for this project. Anything extra is all y'all. If y'all want to do that shit, y'all pick up, y'all start coding it in. That's what I was telling them. That's really what I was telling them. I got the login. I put a login system by myself. I did that basically by myself. Put in the button. Did all that. Then I was like, that's cool. That's fine. I'm not pressed. What started annoying me was when that nigga wasn't doing any of the back end work. And was essentially just presenting it. And nigga, Oh my gosh. And that's what really hurt my soul. The presentations where it's like I had to have other niggas present work that they had almost no functioning role in. That partially hurt me, but I was like, fuck it. Whatever. But it was like, honestly, nah, I'll say this. It was more, well, if I had to like choose which one was worse, it was the asking for more without doing shit. Cause nigga, you already about to coast off our grade. Don't ask for small shit. Don't ask for any shit. My lord, bro. Nigga didn't put in for any of the pizzas, but the other nigga want one whole topping for himself. When there's a whole bunch of other niggas, there's other niggas that put in and they don't even like that topping. Nobody in this house wants that topping. But nigga, you want to add that shit to it. And we gotta think about you. Nah, fuck that. All right, nigga, look. We got cheese if you don't want anything. We might get a pepperoni. A nigga like me, not too much of a fan of pork, but we gonna get a chicken. We gonna get a chicken. Might add a little bit. I fuck with vegetable pizza, respectfully. All right. I do fuck with them vegetable supremes. All right. So it's like you put in some nice shit. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not mad. I'm not opposed. You kind of like already being in line with what we thinking. All right, that's cool. That's fine. But telling us to add extra shit, fuck no. Fuck no. Don't tell me to add anchovies, nigga. And we are not adding anchovies to this pizza. If you want to get your own pizza and add anchovies to it, you can do that. Other shit that was bothering me, entrepreneurship, nigga, was trying to be very pressed on this being the big project that we use, and we just keep working as a group, and we just try and advertise and sell this. Number fucking one. And like, maybe it's because I have more like, I don't even want to be disrespectful, but like natural business sense than some people. But like, do you not understand that like, number one, we are using somebody like data from somebody else already. And at a higher scalability, we're going to have to pay for that usage. Number two, it's one thing to just like make the shit, but to actually market it, sell it, and as well as work with multiple organizations with little to no startup money, little to no name or recognition, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And number three, nigga, you didn't do shit. Why would I do shit with you? Like, why would I want to work with you when I already know the entire time, all you'll do is be giving lip service while other niggas is making you rich? Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I told him multiple times. I was like, nigga, you gonna have the code. If you want to do it, you got it. You do it. I'm not doing it. I got my own plans for the future. I got my own things I want to do. Nah. I said that multiple times. That nigga kept bringing it up. That nigga he wanted us to go and meet up at a hookah bar. Just to go and like have a conversation. I didn't want to be a dickhead that I was like no when everybody else in the group was saying yes, because I was like fuck. I was like I'll meet up for the one time. And since I was like, I fuck with 2.5 people in this group for the most part, it wouldn't be terrible. One of the people ended up like leaving because it was on Thanksgiving break. I don't blame him. Have a good break, brother. But like, so it was only 1.5. A half nigga was a programming database nigga who I was already annoyed with because I was like, this nigga ain't doing shit. But I was like, fuck it. Other thing was like, this nigga was asking me because he realized I was in another class that he was in. He was asking me for help. But he was waiting, basically last minute asking for help for the project. And I was like, nigga, you not serious if you just doing that shit now. And like, look, me, I already knew I had that shit in the bag. That's why I waited last minute. Plus, I was fucking soloing the real shit. The group one that we were doing. I wasn't worried about no fucking solo project that I knew it was only going to take me one real weekend. Only thing was that like that nigga was fucked up. Like, cause usually our shit was due on Sunday night, like 11:59 that Sunday. I nigga made that one due 11:59 on Saturday. I was like, you monster! Why would you do that? The two due dates have always been so, okay. It was like early. It was like December 2nd, so it was like no real excuse, in my opinion. Max have a lot of students, but he had TAs. They all could have been grading. My opinion. Just split it. Fuck it. Y'all know what y'all looking for. Make sure you have a similar enough rubric. Maybe do the first 3 to 10 together type shit. So everybody's pretty clear. There's a consensus. And maybe do some cross referencing here and there. Nothing too big. I wouldn't have cared. But it was like, and I won't lie, I was watching that group. Because I was in the Discord for almost every one of my classes. I watched that Discord. I was looking at that Discord, and I was watching these niggas like failing. Part of it was their own fault, because it was like a lot of them niggas did wait last minute, and then felt like they were just gonna be receiving help. And I'm not gonna play savior to niggas that are working on the last day. That's just me. But the other thing was like, other people were just like lost. And I was all like, throughout this entire like course, like the labs weren't anything to that technically suffer over. Somebody even like sent that there was a video for each lab. And like while the video might have like differed slightly because how the console was at that portion versus how the console is now, it was actually different because AWS updates stuff and it was an AWS class. It wasn't large enough to really have those issues. I'll say like the two of the biggest things that were issue with the project was like, one thing was that like it felt like he gave no direction, so he was all like, create something and just make something. Me, when I read that project, I was like, oh, this nigga is giving us a limited lab space. I'm glad, because I already knew the lab sandbox AWS thing he was going to be giving us was limited unless we made our own AWS account. And later, I also don't like that he said this like a week before. He also said if you want to have a less limited space, just make your own AWS account. And make sure and try and like decrease your costs and you'll be fine. I didn't like that he said that late because it could have possibly helped a lot of people. He also like kind of elaborated on the lab role like 2 or 3 weeks before rather than like almost like immediately. But there was also a manual portion where you kind of like could read through all like the basically only available role you can put on some of the functions and like app services that AWS had. Was like lab mod role. Like for example, for me, I want to like make a local website that I put the data that I like basically processed on there. And that's how I went about that project at first. And then it took me like a day almost where I was like, oh, I can't do a hosting on this because this is a sandbox environment that won't do like somewhat live hosting. So I had to scrap that idea and just have put the output in a text file. And I was like, fuck it. But I was like, this is easy because it's easy and it's something sweet and it gives me something to also put in the little description that I have for it where, oh yeah, I tried doing this. I wasn't able to because of this. And I was like, I can also like weed out the paper a little bit quicker. So it was like, but that's what I'm saying. If you didn't understand how to kind of put together the back end, and that's why I was like so focused on that other project. I was like, the moment I get this project figured out, this smaller project is just a smaller, easier version of what I just fucking did. I don't gotta make no real website. I don't gotta connect it for real. I don't gotta host it. I don't gotta do nothing. I don't gotta make this shit real. That's how I thought. So it was like, I don't know, man. How did I move on to this one? Basically, because the half person, he's a good person in general, but he's not somebody who I don't want to ever like Hitch like actual like getting stuff done with. He's like someone, all right, you go hang out with, and we have fun, maybe hanging out. He was funny. He was tough, but do stuff with, nah, because I'm not one of those people that I'm here for, I can be there for short term motivation, but like when I don't see like actual like changes or like additional stuff being put on top of that motivation that I'm providing, or like that like conversation we're supposed to be having, it bothers me. It does bother me. That's fine. I just won't talk about that shit no more. That's how I am. Because not for everybody, there's different times where shit will change. There's different times where everything's gonna happen. Shit, even now for me, like I was saying, like I be rushing into things because I always be like trying to like time things. But because of that, I don't always take into account external factors. And because of that, I end up putting too much shit on my plate. Because I'm like, everything got to get done when I need it to get done so the next shit can be done. And so the next shit, this past year, like 2023, needlessly expensive. Part of it, my fault. Part of it was just like shit that I needed to get done. Wisdom tooth, fucking, I got an x-ray and an MRI fucking done. I was mad about the deposit for the MRI. Also paying for those doctor appointments. I'm not complaining. There's nothing like that. That's just life. But then I was trying to gear myself up, hype myself up to try and like get in another like hustle state, because I was like, all right, I'm gonna be more like free to do other shit. So I'm like, let me get in a hustle state where I'm just like making money. I can move out. I can do all this shit. And I'm like, nah. Now the shit fell down and shit hit the fan. And I'm looking around, seeing all this shit on the floor and the fan that's still spinning that hose around. I'm like, man, if all it needed was one large crash for shit to fucking really fucking like tear shit down and make shit fucking hard for me, I'm not fucking ready. Let's take at least a little bit more time. All right, let's build a little bit more skills. Let's do a little bit more shit where it's like I'm not fully looking at other niggas to fucking do their job in an environment where I shouldn't have been fully expecting it. Or in an environment where it's like I'll struggle to fucking like pick up those paid works in an environment where I have stuff that I want to do, things that I want to like actually like take further to an extent, things that I have to do for other parts of my life to progress, in my opinion. Like just bare minimum in needs in like terms of like being able to like properly taking care of myself and things of that nature. Because like I said, and I'm not saying that I'm gonna be taking out that like, oh yeah, segmenting portion away, because like part of that is good. Part of that is really good. But it's like I'm gonna have to like start giving myself a little bit more breaks in between, start doing all that shit. I can't even, and right now it's not even like fully available now that I do that shit. Calculations say February, technically. That would be the month where that shit's fully done. Where I'm like, after that month, shit is gonna be start getting like solved fully for me. Like backlog stuff is gonna be fixed, type shit. That's the point. I had backlog shit that I had to push because other shit just kept popping up. A portion of it be just like unfortunate circumstances, bad luck. Shit, I think I said it at one point on one podcast. I was changing the rotors and the brakes on my car with my uncle because it's like electric emergency brake type cars, the new 2020 RAV4, and they have the emergency brakes. The way that you have to do it, you have to like put it in a specific mode, and they have 3 different modes for some fucking reason. So I put it in one mode, and it was supposed to be on a different mode, so it didn't fully like disengage it. And then we also are supposed to use a battery because you can't just clamp down on that hoe, like you can for like the other not rotors but calipers. You can't just like push that shit down because there's a motor in it. You have to use like you either have to have the machine that you can plug in that that pushes the shit back, or you're fucked basically. So we didn't like, or you have to use a battery, connect the fucking wires with the battery, fucking put the negative, like reverse it, and then so the motor rotates that whole back. But like we figured out that shit late. I wanted to say the tree word. Pinal. We broke it basically. Oil and all that shit started leaking from that hole. It was done. Wraps ended up having to fork over like $300 to buy new ones. Shit, nigga. The reason why I wanted to, me and him were finna change it was because I was gonna save 150 with me and him changing it versus me letting other niggas change my rotors and brakes. I was about to save 150, and I was gonna have the high performance brakes and rotors. Nope, bad idea. That shit fucked it up. Then after that, I had to go and have them reinstall the new software on the new calipers that we just bought. That shit cost me another 150. Like, geez, just for calibration, nigga, just for you to reinstall the software? God damn. So it's like, and like me knowing all this shit going on, me knowing I have other shit backlogging because of this shit and all this other stuff that's growing, I can't just press myself to fucking do other shit just because of certain way I'm feeling, however I want. Like, nah, bro. Nah. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna fucking progress on certain skills, certain trades, certain stuff that I was planning to progress at some point. We're gonna finish up certs that we wanted to finish up before. We're gonna finish things. All right. We're gonna regroup, reestablish foundations. That's how we entering. All right. There's not a New Year's resolution. There's not a fucking pick it up speech or none of that. HIT quote last stand. That's it. All right. And that's just the vibes that niggas finna be on, all right? That's just the way shit's gonna work. We're gonna keep swinging this bat. Swing. Batter, swing. Till we get a fucking hit. All right? Because all this other shit tiring. And look, shit can be tiring, but I want to make sure I'm getting actual smart stuff out of it. All right. And if that means I gotta go and get some stuff done in the background, that means I need to go and get some shit done in the background. But we'll get that shit done. That's the focus. That's the plan. That's the stuff that niggas gotta do. All right. There's a lot of stuff that happened the past few weeks. Fucking niggas wanted to talk about who's the prize between the best gymnastics woman that we've seen or person that we've seen in a long time, or one of the best Olympic people versus a undrafted Packer defensive player. People were mad at Mr. Beast again. Niggas were listening to strippers. Cat Williams said a lot of stuff that honestly I feel like people should have kind of figured or already kind of known, especially if you were into a lot of those spaces, but niggas not for real like that. But hey, we here. Not everybody can say that they here. We here. We're gonna keep progressing. We're gonna see the times. We're gonna keep talking. We're gonna keep producing. It's just talking. It's nah. We out, man. Oh, let's keep swagging.
That was the Just Talking Podcast.